Boys from the club dealing with this hangover.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy TRTL. Oh, Joe's a piece of shit. What's up, everybody? It's the Hangover Podcast, and we are here live at the Fan Expo New Orleans 2023. It is a star-studded event, and we are here now with the entire crew. We're going to be here the entire weekend. Let's go! Henry Winkler could be my father, and I wouldn't be mad at my mom. What?
Howard Berger, he did Narnia. He won the Academy Award for Narnia.
Of course.
He did it himself. What are we, the Giants? Why the fuck is she so far back?
I'll stand here with Mr. Esposito's arm around me for as long as we can do this.
I'm an apple girl.
Oh, no.
That's a cute baby.
I'm an orange guy.
That's a very cute baby. It was like,
Good to see you guys. It was a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. See you. Till next time. Bring your vodka. I'll do it. All right, and we're standing here with the illustrious Cory Smith, the world famous. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
So we wanted to ask, just, get an idea, because we met you last year at the same spot, and you obviously have amazing artwork, and we just wanted to ask real quick, because I feel like your story is more interesting than anything else when it comes to how you go about coloring. So do you want to just let everybody know what it is exactly you do?
Okay, well, what we do is, or what I do the original pencil drawings. It's all number 2 pencil, and then we print it on this special paper, so I actually can color on the paper. Instead of me just selling a print to everybody, what I do is I highlight the eyes for free to make it pop, and then you decide how much color or what you want done. So instead of me just coloring whatever, I'm your personal artist. You can bring it back like a tattoo. You buy the original print for $25 and you bring it back, add more color, add more color. Some people like a lot of color, some people like just a little bit, so it kind of works out for everybody.
I think it also works out in the sense of, too, to usually get a piece of art like this, you're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars. But like what we did here today was we brought you ours, and all we had on there were the eyes colored in, and now we're just, here's however much money, and we can add on to it from there a small amount, and then as years go by now, we have what's worth essentially a few $1,000s.
That's it. The fully colored turtle set down there, that went for $4,900. Yeah, again, they start real simple. You're paying for my time, but again, it's one of a kind art. Again, there's no two alike. I attribute this, and this is going to sound obnoxious, but I attribute it to my table. This is Nordstrom, this is Target.
And then I also see over here you actually have some autographs from some of the guys.
Met a lot of celebrities. Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Henry Cavill, which is probably the nicest celebrity I've ever met. We met Amber Heard, so that's a conversation piece. Jason Momoa.
Cut that out. We're going to cut that out?
I said it's a conversation piece. She wasn't very nice. She wasn't, I'm sorry.
But
Anyway.
So is there one in particular that you're like, I did a great fucking job on this? Aside from all of them.
I don't have it in there any longer, but one of my favorite characters is Silver Surfer. And the piece sold for $15,000, $15,250, and I wish I never sold it. It looked like a piece of metal. So, I mean, it took me 61 hours to draw it. It was one of my marathon drawings. I've got copies of it, but I just don't have the original in there. So it's one of my favorite pieces. But I don't know, I take a lot of pride in all of them. I don't use any rulers or templates. I don't use any projectors. I don't use light boxes or any of that nonsense. Everything you see here is all freehand. No templates, no rulers, no nothing.
Is there anything you won't do as far as art goes?
Anime. Anime, Jesus Christ! It's a animation cell. It's an outline. It's a tattoo. It's just too simple. And I know everybody likes it. My kids hate me because I won't draw it for them. But it's just too easy. You know, I like something that has substance, something that has guts. You know, something that actually it takes time to do. So yeah, I won't do Goku and One Piece and all that stuff. I mean, I know the characters because my kids love that stuff. My Hero Academia. I don't know. There's a guy named All Might that gets real strong and then he's gonna die or something. I don't get it. I'm not, you know, whatever.
Well, when we first originally met you, Nikki P's over here right now. You actually broke her heart by saying you were not a Harry Potter fan. Has that changed at all?
Okay, that's the second thing. And I hear the books are great, and that's fantastic. But the movies are awful, unwatchable. And because I do the movie and TV stuff,
Brett, take her away. Brett, take her away.
The special effects are awful. They're just terrible. And the whole thing boils down to he's afraid of a guy with no nose. I mean, it's really terrible. It's absolutely awful.
Great. Now I'm going to get smacked when we walk away. But I also, the last thing.
I won't do any Harry Potter. I apologize.
The last thing I remember was you also said that once you finish a drawing, like it's completely colored and it's done, you don't do that again?
I won't. I have three things of value. I have the originals. Those range from $3,000 to $22,000, depending on how much time goes into it. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I have a fully colored up one, which I do one and one only, and then I have the artist proofs. Those are one and one only as well.
So where can everybody find you?
Well, I live in Chicago, and I do shows all over the United States. My information is Cory Smith Art on Instagram, all one word, no E. Facebook, Cory Smith Art, 3 words. So my schedule's on Instagram, and I do shows mostly all over the United States. Some states aren't worth going back to, and you know which ones you are, because I've been to you, and you didn't support us, so I can't go back. But anyways, yeah, you can find me on those sites, and you can hit me up if you got art questions. I'll answer them to the best of my ability, that kind of stuff. Probably the stupidest artist out there, because I literally draw with a number 2 pencil.
Well, everybody, this is Cory Smith Art, one of the best that I've seen at the show. Thank you so much for taking the time with us. We'll see you in a bit. Check, check. Turtle is about to run into the bar, make us some drinks, and then walk back out. Perks of an angry black man. Here we go. Don't be pussy, just do it. And if you take a look around, you'll see how hard it is to get food in this fucking place. And if you look down, you'll see a sea of fucking nerds just hanging out. It's like I'm nerdy enough to be here, but not nerdy enough to commit. You know what I mean? Eddie Munson's here, so you've never seen more people a part of the Hellfire Club. And we can still bring back Chia Pets, people. It is not too late. The Falcons do suck, goddammit. Look at that. Best shirt of the day. This morning, trying to get my son on it. He's a year. And I think it's about time that he starts getting introduced. Well, hello again, everybody. I am standing here with
Well, I'm not Ryan Gosling, and I am not Jason Statham, but my name is John.
John, and we are looking at all of the beautiful artwork that you have right here, and interestingly enough, you're not an artist.
Well, I am an artist, but I can neither confirm nor deny if I am Bucket, because Bucket is our main artist and our anonymous artist.
Okay, and could you give us an example here of what Bucket's art would be?
I would say it all started with Darth Vader sitting on the toilet, and it started with a sketch, and then we ended up deciding to make it as a painting, an original oil painting, and we called this Taking a Sip. And then the second one ended up being Boba Fett on the toilet, called Dropping a Bounty. And then it just kind of morphed from then on. We do anime, we've got Hulk on the toilet called Hulk Splash. We kind of have all these little good pun names, no pun intended on that. Not tooting my own horn here, but basically the toilet art has been amazing for us. And then we expanded into the kitchen art. So we've got, the Imperial Baking Party, which has Vader, who's obviously a Hufflepuff, wearing the Hufflepuff cooking apron. We've got Boba Fett, and we have the Emperor, of course, wearing his Crocs. Yes. You never see his feet in the movies when you think about it. So
He's got to be wearing Crocs.
absolutely, he's got to be comfortable. So we got a lot of hidden gems in a lot of these pieces. We got Abbey Road here with the four guys crossing, the famous Abbey Road crosswalk there. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of these are just a hell of a fun to make. Putting the little hidden Easter eggs in them is a lot of fun. We have our fans basically name them. We do a lot of competitions. So these clever names, I'm not by any means smart enough to come up with these myself. So we have the fans do it, and if they win the contest, then they get a free canvas.
That's awesome. All right, is there any of these in particular that are a favorite of yours?
Well, other than the ones that I mentioned, we just started doing the golf series. This is a different artist named Ashley Rain. But the Harry Potter ones are great too.
But the movies are awful, unwatchable.
We got Lord Voldemort on the toilet called the Deathly Bowels, and so, but really we've taken on the anime a lot, so we're really hitting the anime hard.
Anime.
Christopher Clark is one of our artists as well, but he specializes in the serious art, the anime ones. He's Lucasfilm's #1 selling artist, so he's moving on to anime, Marvel, the whole works. But to answer your questions, there's just too many, to really say what my favorite are.
And then the follow-up to that was, how in the hell do you get inspiration for something like this?
How do you not? I mean, you know what's crazy about it? You think about it, where do we spend the most time in our homes where we're looking at the walls? The bathrooms. So why wouldn't you want your favorite superhero or your favorite Sith, to be sitting on the toilet, admiring that?
Taking a sip.
Exactly, taking a sip. So it really is, the inspiration is, it's so much fun. And when people walk over to the booths and they're laughing at us, it's not just me they're laughing at. They're actually laughing at the art now, which makes it all the more special.
So, not Bucket, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Can you let everybody know where they can find you and your other artists?
Absolutely, yeah. We say, don't despair, we're Disparody. Okay. So our name is Disparody Art, but you can find us at disparody.com, Disparody. My autocorrect always wants to change it to IDY, I don't know why. But disparody.com, you can find all of our artwork, and what's really cool is we're usually adding a new image, maybe 2 images a month, so it's always growing.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for talking to us, John, if that is your real name.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and we're getting back to it.
All right.
We are here today with the great Travis Langley. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Have you had a good weekend?
I've had a fantastic weekend. This is like, I get to be a secret nerd only a few times a year, and this is where I get to let it out.
It's not exactly secret here.
So the reason that you initially jumped out at me is because I noticed your books over here. You have the Batman and Psychology, and I got to say, I've passed in front of it a million times. Everybody watching right now knows how big of a Batman nerd I am. And I've always wondered, so if I were to pick this off the shelf, what do I have to look forward to cracking it open?
We look at, okay, use these fictional characters to talk about real psychology, real human nature, which is a fun way to look at the characters, and also lets me say some things about real human nature. Like, for example, PTSD. Which symptoms does Batman, as usually written, have? Which ones does he not have? Which is a different way of looking Batman, and also lets me show people that PTSD is not exactly what they thought it was. So, you know, obviously, some chapters on his issue. If you're going to write about the psychology of a superhero and his enemies, you start with Batman. Are the criminals? 3 chapters in particular, more down-to-earth criminals, flamboyant criminals, insane criminals, features on the big criminals all throughout, or some obscure ones if they'll let me talk about something unusual, even King Tut from the old Adam West show. A chapter on the Robins, what it's like growing up as the different Robins and how that relates to real issues in growing up. A chapter on Batman's love life, on his daddy issues. This edition, I've added 2 chapters because the book sold well every week for 10 years.
Yeah, I've seen it a million times, and I feel like it's never going anywhere. So I was glad to see that it got a nice update. If I'm understanding correctly from the very quick research I was able to do last night, so I didn't look totally unprepared, Adam West had some things to say about your book, too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true. Let's see, what did Adam West say? Marvelous. Adam West. There it is. Adam West did convention panel with me a couple years before I did the first edition. And so we've got, I got 2, there's one of the pictures from it. So here we are afterwards. Me and Adam, and Jerry Robinson, creator of the Joker, Michael Uslan, producer of the movies, and another psychologist. I think Adam did it mainly because he had never met Jerry before, and he really wanted to meet Jerry. And I didn't know he and Michael Uslan had never met in person before. I deliberately sat them next to each other because I knew there'd been a little bad blood. So I thought, it'll either go very nicely or spectacularly badly. It went really nicely. In fact, it helped Adam and Michael get in touch later on about some other things, too. But one particular thing Adam said in there that meant a lot to Michael. When Adam was saying that Batman is a flexible enough character, you can have all these different takes. The character who can be in something darker, the character who can be in something silly. He's Mr. Uslan has his Dark Knight, and Adam says, I, of course, have the Bright Knight. And that was very meaningful to Michael, too. You know, seeing that Adam made room for all these different... Batman is an amazingly adaptable character. How many other characters can be in a children's cartoon, a detective story, and horror? Indeed. The Joker can.
So aside from Batman, what else can we get from you in psychology?
Oh, gosh. 13 books are out. After the Batman book did so well, other psychologists joined me. So I've got trauma experts, family experts, relationship experts. Several forensic psychologists have joined us, especially on the Joker book.
I'm sure that was a fucking roller coaster.
We get into some of it's lighthearted, a chapter on humor, so a chapter on horror, and looking into psychopathy and insanity, and bringing some things on Harley too, so we can try to end on a more upbeat note. But I interviewed an FBI profiler who also knew the comics well enough to discuss comparing real serial criminals to what's going on with this. And I had old interviews I had done with Adam West and Jerry Robinson that let me save in case I ever did a book on the Joker. So, I mean, they were both gone before we did this, but I had interviews with them in there. And it's wonderful to have known them. It's more wonderful to have heard them call me friend. But in terms of any area of psychology, any area of human nature, there are stories that speak to people in different ways.
Absolutely. All right. Well, where can everybody find you?
I'm easy to find online. Just look for Travis Langley. I'm at Superherologist on Twitter for however long that lasts. Dr. Travis Langley and most other social media. But just look for Travis Langley. I'm not hard to find. Of course, a great way to look for me is on the Amazon author page, where there's this list of the 13 books that are out, plus the 2 that are upcoming. Stranger Things Psychology. It's over there. Oh, there it is. Yeah. There's Stranger Things Psychology, Life Upside Down, and right after that will be Spider-Man Psychology, Untangling Webs, which is one I wanted to do for a long time. But thanks to No Way Home and Spider-Verse, the publisher's finally letting me do that. And when some of those take longer, it gives me longer to let it gel on what we need to say.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me, Travis. It's a pleasure. And I'm about to buy a couple of books. We'll see you all in a little bit. everybody, that wraps up this weekend. As you can hear, the party festivities are still going on. We're wrapping up. We've already spent too much money. We're done. We'll see y'all again next year.